top stories tonight in Y News. A policy analyst warns lawmakers about the risks of the proposed sovereign wealth fund if not deliberated thoroughly. Families of the missing sabungeros or cockfighting aficionados meet with the Department of Justice, National Bureau of Investigation, and Philippine National Police Criminal Investigation Group. The Department of Agriculture and Bureau of Fisheries and Aquatic Resources declared to stop the crackdown against the sale of imported pink salmon and pampano in markets. And Japan eyes to use presidency of the Group of Seven in 2023 and the United Nations to help stop Russia's war on Ukraine. Good evening, Philippines and the world. Today is Friday, the 2nd of December, 2022. Join us in the next hour as we deliver today's top stories around the Philippines and in other parts of the world. We are also seen in 1,935 satellite monitoring centers nationwide and via live streaming worldwide through the UNTV News and Rescue social media channels. I am William Theo. First in the news, the leadership of the House of Representatives are now pushing for the passage of the proposed Sovereign Wealth Fund. But a policy analyst warned regarding its risks if the lawmakers will not deliberate thoroughly the said wealth fund. Nel Maribuhok will tell us why.
The proposed Maharlika Sovereign Wealth Fund can be good for the government and the economy if managed well and if enough safeguards are in place. According to Attorney Michael Henry Yosinko, a policy analyst and constitutionalist, there are some red flags in the said proposal of Congress that needs thorough study. First is the funding sources for the sovereign fund, where the participating government financial institutions will provide an initial investment. Particularly, the bill would order State Pension Funds Government Service Insurance System or GSIS and the Social Security System, as well as state-owned lenders Land Bank of the Philippines and the Development Bank of the Philippines to provide an initial investment of 200 billion pesos to Maharlika Wealth Fund.
Yung paggamit ng pera ng mga pensioners natin is very, very dangerous, no? Kasi hindi ito tipong ginagamit lamang na hindi pinag-iisipan yung risk involved, because the money that is going to be used is really relied upon by many or millions of Filipinos for their future, no? So kumbaga hindi ito usually actually yung ginamit sa mga sovereign wealth funds.
According to Yosinko, it is also important to carefully choose the individuals that would be tasked to manage Maharlika.
Yung iniisip na magiging manager ng sovereign wealth fund, masyadong dikit sa mga politicians natin, no? Usually, ang mga sovereign wealth fund, yung mga managers niyan o yung management entity niyan talagang insulated and isolated and independent from the political class.
The bill's explanatory note said Maharlika will have in place a transparent and sound governance structure that provide adequate operational controls, risk management, and commitment. House leadership believes that the Sovereign Wealth Fund could also be used to manage the country's foreign reserves and bring in job-generating direct investments, citing the success stories of Singapore's GIC and the Indonesia Investment Authority. Nel Maribuhok, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
The Philippine National Police Criminal Investigation and Detection Group, or PNP-CIDG, announced on Friday, December 2, the arrest of two most wanted persons, or MWPs, in Region 4A or Calabarzon in a recent series of arrest warrant operations. CIDG Chief Brigadier General Ronald Lee mentioned that a 24-year-old construction worker, Arnante Domingo, who was tagged as the 10th WMWP, was arrested on Thursday, December 1 during operations of the police regional office in Calabarzon at Barangay 7, Panungyanan in General Trias City, Cavite. The suspect has standing warrants of arrest for 2 counts of rape issued by the Regional Trial Court Branch 5 in 13 Martires City, Cavite last November 8 and was brought to the CIDG for proper disposition and documentation. Meanwhile, the other MPS, Jeffrey Moscosa, was arrested in Dasmariñas City, Cavite on Wednesday, November 30. Moscosa has 2 standing arrest warrants issued by the courts in San Pedro City, Laguna on September 2017 and in Quezon City on March 2022. While waiting for the return of Moscosa's warrants to the courts of origin, he is now under CIDG's temporary custody in Laguna. Meanwhile, some families of the missing sabungeros or cockfighting aficionados met on Friday, December 2 with the Department of Justice, National Bureau of Investigation, and Philippine National Police Criminal Investigation and Detection Group. Dante Amento tells us why.
The authorities have briefed some families of the missing sabungeros or cockfighting aficionados over the development of the cases they filed before the Department of Justice or DOJ. Justice Secretary Crispin Rimulya with the National Bureau of Investigation or NBI and PNP Criminal Investigation and Detection Group or PNP-CIDG met the families at DOJ this morning.
I think four of them have been filed. Some of them still have to be filed. There are leads in other cases that are still being followed up. Believe din ako sa matyaga din talaga ang CIDG. They're getting a lot of evidence, no? Given the circumstances, mahirap to. It's a very difficult case to crack. Pero meron ng mga leads.
The DOJ would also meet the families of the sabungeros once a month. Rimulya added he will ask the prosecution to resolve the cases the soonest possible time.
Alam nyo, ang role ko rito is to coordinate everything, to make them, we're trying to put everybody together para may clear dialogue, para may clear direction. And ang PNP naman, gusto naman nila makipag-cooperate sa DOJ. Ganun din naman ang NBI, kasama natin NBI.
Meanwhile, the families are optimistic that they see light on their complaints. A good discussion transpired during their meeting with the government authorities.
Ang atmosphere sa loob, napakaganda. In short, napakaganda. Regarding dyan, based dyan sa resolution na hinihintay namin, yung inaasahan natin, pasintabi na lang po, pasensya na dun sa mga tatamaan naghahanap buhay sa Isabong. Pasensya na po, sana wag ho kayong abutin ng ganitong problema ang pinagdadaanan namin.
Sana naman po, kung meron kayong alam, kahit kaunting malaman man lang namin kung anong nangyari talaga sa kanila, bakit hindi sila nakauwi.
Dante Amento, UNTV, News and Rescue. We serve the people. We give glory to God.
The Philippine National Police or PNP would start to deploy secret or plainclothes officers in all areas of convergence across the country as part of the intensified security operations for the holiday season. PNP spokesperson Colonel Jean Fajardo said in an interview that this move was intended to ensure that there will be no heightened criminal activities such as pickpockets or hold-uppers, especially in crowded areas where the public are expected to go. She also added that aside from the police force, they will also add force multipliers such as the village watchmen that will help them monitor public areas as petty crimes are expected to soar in malls, supermarkets, and flea markets. Fajardo said that a total of 6,000 tourist-oriented personnel will be deployed in areas where bigger crowds are expected to ensure Filipinos will feel the security along with their loved ones and that they are safe and can enjoy their vacation. She also reminded the public to be careful against the proliferation of counterfeit money. The public needs to file complaints against people or establishments that disburse counterfeit money or to turn over the fake peso bills to banks. The PNP has earlier announced that following an order from PNP Chief General Rodolfo Azurin Jr. to increase the police presence and visibility for the holiday season, All applications for leave from December 15 to January 10 next year would be canceled for all police personnel. Police assistance desks are already set up at the transport hubs and at major thoroughfares. Meanwhile, the PNP Anti-Cybercrime Group, or ACG, also reminded the public to be aware against online scammers that lure victims into online cryptocurrency investments. PNP ACG spokesperson Lieutenant Michelle Sabino has explained the scammers are inviting their investors to invest money using crypto, but it turns out that it is a fake investment. She said investors are convinced to download a fake crypto application where one can monitor the fund they have invested and will be enticed to put in more money because the fund can be seen growing at an exponential rate over a short period of time. The apps will not allow the investors to withdraw. When they start to withdraw their money, this is the time they would realize that they have already been victimized of the cryptocurrency investment scam. Sabino has noted that they have yet to receive formal complaints from cryptocurrency scam victims.
And for our news abroad, more than 10 million residents across western United States receive travel warnings as winter storms bring heavy snowfall. Marvin Delfin will give us the details live. Yes, Marvy.
Mariel, the United States National Weather Service, or NWS, have placed weather advisories across at least 9 western states due to the back-to-back storm systems which jump-started the country's winter season. While today marked the first day of meteorological winter, the NWS says travel conditions are already proving to be difficult, if not impossible. In cities like Seattle and Portland, there will be a mix of rain and snow, which could lead to mushy roads and below freezing temperatures, creating areas of black ice. Widespread snow is expected across California, Montana, Utah, and the Colorado Mountains, while Aspen is under an avalanche watch until Saturday morning local time. The NWS forecasts the highest amounts of snow with about 20 to 30 inches along the Sierra Mountain Range. This, combined with strong winds, could result to a near whiteout atmosphere. And so people have been urged to avoid all non-essential trips during high-impact periods. Meanwhile, the Natural Resources Conservation Service SNOTO network is monitoring snow water equivalent percentages in terms of water supply, which will help in alleviating the decades-long drought in the region. Marielle?
Thank you, Marvin Delfin, reporting live. According to Africa's Center for Disease Control and Prevention, the continent is set to receive its first 50,000 doses of Mpox vaccines as donation from Republic of Korea's Disease Control and Prevention Agency. Africa's Acting Director General Dr. Ahmed Ogbel Uma acknowledges the donation as the continent has yet to receive vaccines since the outbreak. He also added that the vaccines will be prioritized to health workers and patients in the most affected states, which are Ghana and Africa. The two organizations have agreed to collaborate earlier this year to establish a plan that aims to strengthen disease prevention and control in Africa. On the other hand, the World Health Organization have been preparing monkeypox tests for Africa as cases continue to rise. There have been 1,597 cases and 66 deaths reported in Africa in 2022, but CDC says that numbers may be higher than official data due to limited testing equipment. We'll share more global stories with you later, but for now, back to you, William.
Yes, thank you, Mariel. The proposed Maharlika Wealth Fund is set to be discussed in the plenary next week. A lawmaker assures that embezzlement in the proposed Maharlika Wealth Fund will be unlikely. Eileen Cerudo will tell us why.
The Sovereign Wealth Fund, or the Maharlika Wealth Fund, or MWF, proposed in Congress has enough safeguard to prevent embezzlement and other anomalies, according to Albay Representative Joey Salceda. He also assured that there will be enough funds to sustain the MWF amid the country's 13.5 trillion debt.
Kung ang ibig sabihin ng right time ay dahil may deficit at may debt, yung Indonesia, mas malaki ang deficit, mas malaki ang debt, pero I think they just recently launched their own sovereign wealth fund.
Several lawmakers, including the Makabayan Bloc, expressed concern over the proposed House Bill number 6398 or the Maharlika Wealth Fund. They questioned how the approval of the bill is being expedited while there are other bills needed to be prioritized. Kabataan Party List Representative Raul Manuel is also concerned that the President will chair the MWF once it is enacted into law. He reiterated that there are other means to generate income for the country.
Ang dapat niyang gawin ay i-tax yung mga pinakamayayaman sa ating bansa para mag-generate ng income para sa gobyerno. At dapat din ay lakihan yung purchasing power ng ating mga kababayan sa pamamagitan ng pagtanggal ng pahirap na mga buwis at pagtaas ng sahod.
Representative Salceda said the MWF will be transparent and will unlikely to fall similar to the Malaysia Development Berhad or the 1MDB scandal in 2016. The lawmakers said there will be a board of directors, advisory board, risk management unit, and a joint congressional oversight committee. The MWF will also be under the Commission on Audit. Meanwhile, an economist said a sovereign wealth fund will be beneficial for the country. However, a smart investment should be done.
Para sigurado, pasok sila sa mga siguradong investments, like infrastructure projects, real estate, yung mga fixed income generating instruments, yung mga ganon. Huwag silang papasok doon sa alanganin yung interest rates, nagpa-fluctuate.
Eileen Cerudo, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
In other news, comedian and former Quezon City Councilor Roderick Paulate has been found guilty by the Sandigan Bayan for 1 count of graft and 9 counts of falsification of public documents in connection with the hiring of ghost employees in 2010. Paulate and his driver Vicente Bahamunde has been sentenced by the 7th Division of the Sandigan Bayan between 10.5 years or up to 62 years of imprisonment for falsification of public records of up to 30 fictitious workers assigned to his office. Based on the decision penned by Associate Justice Zaldi Trespese, the job order contracts and general payrolls are deemed falsified documents because the job contractors subject therein do not exist. The court said Paulate has taken advantage of his position and has used the falsified documents to obligate the funds and disburse them. During his first stint as a councilor after his election win in 2010, Paulate was removed from office after his alleged hiring of ghost employees from July to November of the same year. In 2018, the case against Paulate has been officially filed by the Office of the Ombudsman. It was reported that he issued certifications after every 15th and end of the month for job contractors that rendered services for 40 hours a week. Paulate also designated Bahamunde as liaison officer that received in bulk the wages of the job contractors. During the said investigation, it was discovered that the office of Paulate received 125,000 pesos every payday, totaling to 1.109 million for those months. Verifications later revealed that no birth records have been found in the entries made in the personal data sheets of the hired job contractors. Their NBI application, school records, and their addresses could not be located as well. He has been perpetually disqualified from public office and has been ordered to pay a 10,000 peso fine for each count of the falsification offense for a total of 90,000 pesos. The Metro Manila mayors are looking to designate a new firecracker areas in every local government unit. This is through a resolution being drafted by the Metro Manila Council in preparation for the forthcoming holiday season. Asher Cadapan Jr. details why.
The Philippine National Police, or PNP, confirms that there is no total ban against firecrackers in the country this year, but its regulation will stringently be implemented to ensure safety of the public. The Metro Manila mayors, on their part, will issue guidelines in firecracker use in the respective jurisdictions. Metro Manila Council President and San Juan City Mayor Francis Zamora confirms that they will soon release the resolution in time for the holiday season.
Kaya ang Metro Manila Council po ay kasalukuyang nagda-draft ng isang resolution kung saan mag-designate po ng firecrackers area sa iba't ibang LGUs.
Mayor Zamora further explains that the resolution aims to avoid accidents caused by firecracker use.
Kasi kung hayayaan natin na kung saan-saan lang nagpapaputok, dyan po talaga nagsisimula ang mga aksidente. May sasaktan, minsan may namamatay. Yun po ang gusto nating iwasan. Ang gusto natin magkaroon ng isang ligtas at tahimik at mapayapang selebrasyon ng bagong taon.
The San Juan City Mayor, however, reminds firecracker vendors to make sure they are legitimately operating as a step forward to safety of the public. Asher Kadapan Jr., UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
The Home Development Mutual Fund, or the Pag-ibig Fund, on Thursday, December 1, assures that it's full supporting to the Pambansang Pabahay para sa Pilipino program of President Ferdinand Marcos Jr.'s administration. Pag-ibig Department Manager for Public Media Affairs Jack Jacinto mentioned that the agency is earning enough profits and is capable to guarantee its 250 billion peso allocation to support the program. In a statement, Jacinto said they are now inviting the local government units and the accredited developers of their agency to apply for this program to build housing units for Pag-ibig Fund members. The Pag-ibig Board has approved the allocation of 250 billion pesos for the Marcos administration's housing program to help ensure the accomplishment of the President's commitment to building 6 million housing units in the 6 years of his term.
With upcoming change in leadership roles for the Group of Seven in 2023, Japan will be using its power to push Russia to stop their aggression towards Ukraine. Jane Robles tells the details why live. Go ahead, Jane.
Muriel, according to Japan's Minister of Foreign Affairs, Yoshimasa Hayashi, Japan will be taking on leadership roles with their presidency of the Group of Seven in 2023 and the United Nations to help stop Russia's war on Ukraine. In a recent conference he attended, Minister Hayashi expressed that the outrageous and threatening acts of Russia is a clear violation of international law and order. As the invasion of Russia also continues, the threat of Japan's neighboring countries, China and North Korea, continues to grow, as Minister Hayashi says they may use the ongoing war as a push to use military force against surrounding countries. The Group of Seven have agreed to support Ukraine by offering humanitarian, military, diplomatic, and legal support, which Japan will continue to maintain to keep international relations and tackle issues like Russian aggression. Meanwhile, Japan has also planned to target threats of nuclear weapons and is expected to discuss such matters in the G7 summit to be held and hosted in Japan in May 2023. Japan also intends to advocate for a push in United Nations reforms, calling the group a dysfunctional Security Council, which was unsuccessful with acknowledging Russian aggression towards Ukraine. Muriel?
Thank you, Jane Robles, for that live report. And those are the reasons behind the news in other parts of the globe. I am Mariela Toza, reporting live from Perth, Australia. Good evening.
First Lady Liza Araneta-Marcos has spearheaded the launching of the Presidential Library at the National Library of the Philippines, or NLP building in Ermita, Manila. This presidential library project will give the public an access to several book collections from Malacanang's Presidential Museum. In a statement, the First Lady shared how they came up with the idea of building the said library using piles of books on Philippine culture and heritage in Malacañang Palace. She said there were hundreds of priceless law books in the palace that many law students would have lusted after, and emphasized the importance of libraries in learning and development. The NLP mentioned a memorandum of agreement was signed to allow the sharing of some of the books from the Presidential Museum and Library for the public's easy access. The First Lady thanked the NLP for ensuring the successful launch of the establishment of this presidential library. She noted their passion and dedication in promoting learning and researching for our youth and future leaders are indispensable tools in nation building. The Presidential Library launch has coincided with the closing ceremony for the 32nd Library Information Services Month of the NLP. The NLP is notable for being the home of the intellectual, literary, and information resources, and for other printed and recorded cultural heritage of the country. The Department of Agriculture and Bureau of Fisheries and Aquatic Resources have declared to stop the crackdown against the sale of imported pink salmon and pompano in markets. Bernadette Tinoy tells us why.
The Department of Agriculture, or DA, has declared a moratorium for imported pink salmon and pompano in wet markets following the recommendation from stakeholders and lawmakers.
The Department of Agriculture, Bureau of Fisheries and Aquatic Resources is declaring a moratorium in its operations in wet markets with regard to the presence of diverted, imported pink salmon, pompano, and other imported frozen fish products effective immediately.
With the lifting of moratorium, the confiscation for imported pink salmon and pompano will be suspended. According to Bureau of Fisheries and Aquatic Resources, or BFAR OIC National Director Attorney Demosthenes Escoto, the agency will review its regulation under the Fisheries Code or Republic Act 8550. Escoto said that the market structure that was created in 1999 were already outdated and it needs to be updated.
And we do recognize the fact that there has been a lot of changes in the market structure. Marami na hong pagbabago that needs to be updated, meaning that the regulation has to be updated with these changes in the market structure in order for that regulation to be effective.
For fish vendor Laney, the moratorium will help them to have additional income, and for a consumer like June, will have the options to better choose their preferred fishes, especially this holiday season.
Masaya kasi medyo mabili-bili kasi pag holiday season. Makabawi-bawi, stomal.
Option kasi yun sa mga namimili kasi may mga iba mas mahal tapos ito mas masarap at saka mas mura ng konti dapat. Pero ngayon mas mataas ang konti siya.
The DA will announce on the first quarter of the year 2023 the new order which will cover the new regulations for the importation of pink salmon and pompano. Bernadette Tinoy, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
Singer Sylvia La Torre, popularly known as the Queen of Kundiman and First Lady of Philippine television, died peacefully in her sleep on Thursday, December 1 at the ripe age of 89, leaving behind a legacy in music and entertainment that spanned decades. On a social media post, her granddaughter and fellow actress Ana Maria Perez de Tagle has confirmed her grandmother's death. Sylvia passed in the company of her husband, Dr. Celso Perez de Tagle, and her children, Artie, Bernie, and Cheche. She was a University of Santo Tomas's Conservatory of Music scholar and a regular performer in the Manila Grand Opera House. Among the songs that led her to be called as the Queen of Kundiman are Mutya ng Pasig, Waray Waray, and Maala-ala Mo Kaya, while her co-hosting of the Oras ng Ligaya during the 1960s has made her the First Lady of Philippine television. Our Kasambahay, as the world faces these trying times amid the pandemic caused by coronavirus, we are inviting everyone to join the global prayer for humanity.
Good day. I'm Brother Eli Soriano of the members of the Church of God International.
I want to invite you to join us in a minute of prayer every day to pray for humanity and the whole world as we go through these perilous times. While safety measures like washing of hands and strengthening of our immune systems may help us through this horrible predicament, there is still no precaution or cure more powerful than God's mighty intervention. And we need His intervention now more than ever. It doesn't matter what religion you are in or what denomination you belong. This is an invitation for all the people around the world who cares for the future of their family, friends, loved ones, and humanity as a whole. Everybody is welcome to pray with us. For more details, you can check out the description box below. Thank you very much, and I hope to hear from you soon. May God bless you.
And before we close, we will leave you with a word giving glory to God from the book of Romans chapter 12, verse 16. It says, "Be of the same mind one toward another. Mind not high things, but condescend to men of low estate. Be not wise in your own conceits." And those are the reasons behind the news December 2, 2022. Reasons we deliver to you as they unfold. And because we need to know, we will always ask why. I am William Theo. We serve the people. We give glory to God.